All right. In this week's show and tell, we're going to kick it off with PR, and I can't wait to hear what you have to show and tell us about.
Awesome.
Jacqueline, are you here to start?
I am. Yes, I'm going to represent the corporate communications team. I've got a lot, guys. There's team. I got to get better at the terms. I've got a lot going on here in the corporate comms world. We conducted a successful 13.0 group media briefing in Japan with 5 reporters attending. The spokespeople were Brendan O'Leary and Tadashi Murakami. GitLab also we were included in CRN's the 10 hottest cloud startups of 2020 so far, which is pretty exciting. We are leading up to the announcement we announced the Peach Tech and Fuzzit acquisitions, and the global PR team conducted both embargoed and day of outreach, teasing the key updates to a targeted list of security, developer, and tech trade publications. We'll have a full coverage report to give to the wider group via the Newswire channel today or tomorrow. Overall, in our coverage, we had more than 44 pieces of secured coverage across global teams to date. So that's a pretty big deal. We've had 7 GitLab media interviews across global teams to date as well. I'm going to move to social media too. So I'm going to cover social media and then executive communications. For social media, we did behind the scenes coordination of teams in content, communications, e-group, legal, and more to come up with our first blog on our first social post that's since the beginning of the month. So we had that go live. That was our diversity and inclusion blog. And that's pretty exciting too. That's getting some good attention and really a pretty honest blog. I was really impressed with how that came out. And then executive communications is my world, so that one I'm more familiar with as I read these out this morning. I was super excited. We had Darren on NPR yesterday. We also, within the last week or so, we had both Sid and Darren on podcasts, on Changelog podcasts. And I have links to all of these too, if you guys want to listen to them. We can, I don't know if we share the links on YouTube, but we've got, you can find all these, they're all public. So you can also look them up on the Changelog website, looking up their podcasts. Sid did the Founders Talk. And then Darren did Changelog podcast. And then, I think that's it for executive communications and corporate comms. And then it looks like next we have all remote, and I'm guessing, Darren, you are representing today.
That is correct. Thank you very much. As mentioned above, NPR and Changelog went live. I hadn't been on NPR in a while. That was fun to be on. And the segment was actually led by the individual who joined a Teams call and became a potato and couldn't figure out how to not be a potato. And that went viral. And so that was a great way to kick that call off. And funny enough now, people request that she be a potato in the meeting. So now she has to be a potato in all meetings. So something for us to consider. If you just make it your thing, you lean into it, you roll with it, you never know. I linked quite a few articles, webinars, and podcasts that have gone live this week. They're all there. I've done a couple of consultations. A huge company, over 100,000 people that are going through a remote transformation. And then on the other side of the spectrum, 100-person financial startup. And so it's been really fun to work with these companies and spot and see the differences in kind of the forcing functions that they need to implement and some of the challenges that they're up against. And that makes our documentation better. And there's a couple of follow-ups that could come from those, which is pretty awesome. And tonight I get to guest lecture at NCED. They are teaching the GitLab case study on all remote management for the first time to their MBA students. So that's a pretty amazing moment in the history of all remote. And with that, I'll toss it over to Michael.
Thank you. I will shortly share my screen. Does it work? Yes. So the first thing I wanted to highlight is we were doing a German webcast with Tesla. They have been using GitLab Premium, and we were sharing this basically the story how they migrated from Jenkins to GitLab. And the nice thing is that they also tweeted about it. So we actually shared the recording, which is in Path Factory already. And the next things will be to use the content, the German content, all the assets, and combine it together and use further on that. The good thing is we kind of learned so much in the webcast, so I could talk all day about it, that we maybe will be doing another webcast on specific other topics. And I asked them both, so Connie and Greg joined the webcast to contribute to my German coffee chat, which I call the Everyone Can Contribute Käffchen. And they both joined and we had a great time, which is also my second point. I'm really enjoying it because it's just 1 hour of technical social chat, no agenda, maybe an agenda. So we are just keep using what's already there. So the website is built using GitLab CI/CD, using GitLab pages. We are kind of creating a blog right now. We're also blogging about what's going on. So this is, for example, a summary I blogged yesterday about the recording, which we're uploading also to GitLab Unfiltered on YouTube. There was also a highlight about Handbook First. So someone found a recording from Darren on the YouTube Unfiltered channel, and then we discussed about it, shared opinions, shared experiences. It was really nice. The only problem is that it's in German, but I can auto translate for everyone if needed, so that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, and the other thing is we're also organizing everything in GitLab. So we've created a group for us, and that's super nice. And the last thing, I did some social media analytics this week. So I did take a break lately for 2 weeks, which was really nice. And I kind of reached 2,072 followers by today, which means an increasement by 400 followers when I joined GitLab in March. And I think that's really awesome. And with that, over to Emily. Jin.
Thank you. I am delighted to announce that our Universal Remote podcast is live as of 2.5 weeks ago. We now have the podcast embedded in the webcast page. We have 3 podcast episodes. We have 9 webcast episodes. There's a lot of great content, and it's cranking along. So a huge thank you to all the people who have suggested great guests. Of course, to Darren and Jessica for hosting these episodes, and to Erica for providing really great editor partners who we trust and we can just hand off all the great information to. Our podcast will shortly be on several different platforms, but we submitted to Apple Podcasts. It's live on Spotify. We submitted to Stitcher and Pandora. And also, there's so many directories of podcasts. I did not know this was a thing. Also, the CFP for GitLab Commit Virtual closed on Friday. We got 160 entries, woo! Which is very incredible because we had taken a break from our social media promotion. We've wanted to create a really personal and targeted outreach. So great job to everyone who communicated about the CFP process. We already have early acceptances going out for a double handful of humans. And so a huge thank you to the CFP review committee who, on top of their full-time jobs, have been reviewing 160 submissions. So thank you, everyone. And then I think Emily, Kyle for Tegan.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I just want to say it's no easy feat. We're trying to fill 24 hours. The event's going to run 24 hours. So this is all pretty incredible, and everybody's really been really thoughtful about the process and getting the best speakers and getting diverse speakers, which is really important to us. So, and our goal was 100 submissions. So we exceeded that, and it's thanks to everybody's hard work on reaching out to people. So really impressed there. Tiga's on this call, but I just wanted to say a couple words. Collision is next week, a Collision from Home. And she kind of thought of a really inventive way to get staffing for this event. So we have 3 talks, and they've built out, so Collision's built out their own kind of custom event platform, and so we weren't able to preview it in advance, and so she kind of like had to cobble together a way to get us like leads and staffing from this. So she is having all a bunch of SDRs go out there and attend talks and start to reach out to people through their app, and bring people back as leads. So I'll hopefully we'll be able to report back in like 2 weeks on how that went, but I was excited that she was able to come up with something kind of inventive to make it work and get the SDRs involved, so they can get more leads and stuff. So really happy with that. She's not on, but thank you, Tegan. Now we're on, I guess, Darren, you want to kick us off with shout outs or intro them?
Yes, I would love to. Shout outs section. The goal here is to express gratitude within our team and across the company to all the folks that were the highlight of your week. So, you know what? I'll add mine after the fact. But big shout out to Emily Chen. She's been amazing in coordinating Commit. Remote is a new track for Commit this time. So it's all new to me, and she's made it easy, which is awesome. And we have some pretty amazing submissions, and she's been great in helping to organize those. So thank you very much, Emily. Thank you, as always, to Jessica for awesome one-on-ones, just being super empathetic and real and vulnerable. Really appreciate that. And thanks to the corporate marketing leads team. Danielle led an amazing virtual offsite on Tuesday that was super beneficial, and it was exactly what my soul needed. So I appreciate everyone that was a part of that and taking the time to do that. And thanks to Jacqueline for all the wrangling and the support on all of the awesome media ops that we have. Thanks, everyone. I just have everyone to thank. I will toss it over to Jacqueline, who's going to read for Christina.
Yes. Real quick too, I want to add, Darren, thank you, because you are so wonderful to work with that it's honestly a lot of fun to help. And you're doing such awesome things. And every interview you have, you sound like a pro. So it's been a lot of fun. And then I'm going to represent Christina. So Christina wanted to say a very big thank you to Brendan O'Leary for taking the time late in his evening on a Monday to participate in the 13.0 Japan media briefing. And I'll pass it to Emily Kyle.
So I think Emily covered a lot of the CFP stuff and all the thank yous, but I do want to make sure that Emily gets thanked because she's obviously kind of spearheaded this and put in a lot of work. And I'm like, hey, we're going to make it 24 hours. And she's like, sure, we're going to do it, I guess. And so it's just rolled with all the punches. So big thank you to Emily. Thank you to John. Thank you to Brendan. Thank you to Sydney. Thank you to Cormac. Thank you to Dan. Thank you to Darren. Thank you to Tracy. I'm listing out all the track leaders. Thank you to Ray. Thank you to Abubakar. Thank you to Candace. Thank you to Michael. Thank you to John. Thank you to William. Thank you to Kim. So thank you pretty much anyone who's been involved in the CFP process. Again, it exceeded all our expectations, and it's been a lot of hard work. And I know the work will continue, but all of our track leaders wanted to add more talks to their tracks. So everyone seems to be really excited. So that helps build my enthusiasm and keep it going. So thanks to everyone. Also, to move on from that, to kind of reiterate what Darren said, thank you, Danielle, for planning our offsite and showing your hidden talent for building team bonding activities online. Those were really fun. We were kind of her test dummies for her new experimental team bonding things, and they worked. So thank you for that. On to Brendan.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I wanted to do a shout out to someone who's not on the call, but it relates to our fantastic PR team. So Highwire, the folks over there, the other agencies we have. I worked with our agency in Japan for the the Japanese media brief that we talked about earlier. Just really, like, I think it's a testament to the PR team, the great people they choose to work with, and how they're able to integrate them so well into our environment. It just feels like a natural extension of our team. They get our values, but they help make us better with the things that, you know, we couldn't do just ourselves. So huge thank you for that. I have been having a great time working with them and collaborating with those teams. Thanks.
I'll go next. I want to say thanks to Ugo, Bruno, and Romer for supporting our Brazil-focused virtual meetup last night. We started doing local language meetups, and it's driven a lot of new folks into our community. We've seen a lot of growth in our virtual meetup group on meetup.com because of these local language events that we've been putting on the last few weeks. So big thanks to those folks. And also thanks to everyone who contributed to the diversity, inclusion, and belonging blog post that we published this week. I know that was a big collaborative effort in a lot of ways, but special thanks to Sarah Kasabian, who is the author of those posts. I think that, you know, it meant a lot to our team and our community to see how GitLab plans to take action. So thanks for everyone who contributed to that. And on to Michael.
Yeah, I wanted to say a big thanks specifically to Will and Kristen for helping align with the social media strategy and everything which was going on. So I personally had a really rough time keeping up with everything, and it was a little too much. And both helped me with their careful comments and like making me a little more stable. And I'm back to social media, which is a good feeling. The other shout out goes to our community advocates, because I think they're doing an amazing job with all the negativity and all the emotions out there which are going on, and it's like doubled down on everything. Just wanted to say, like, keep up the good work and shine and smile, and we can just master that together.
I think that's everybody. Did anybody forget a shout out that they're now thinking of that they really want to get in here? All right, we're going to switch to town hall, although I don't see any questions. Are there any questions? Is anybody like, I really want you to stop the recording and then I'll ask a juicy question? Well, I will stop the recording really quickly.